Okay, welcome, welcome. I am Teja Vituri, and I will introduce you to my two amigos. Roman is in the middle, and Lance is on my right in the red shirt with his stylish glasses. And um, I guess we'll start with Roman in the middle. Tell us a bit more about yourself and real estate and
Yeah,
anything you want to tell us.
thank you, Tasia. I'm just a guy that loves sport. I love nature. I love connecting with people. My name's Roman, like Tasia mentioned. I've been in real estate now for almost since I started. If you include since I did the course, it's been almost 10 years now. And I work out of Toronto and the GTA. So I cover a pretty wide range of areas. I'll go pretty much within 2 hours driving distance of Toronto, but outside that area, we obviously have referral friends we could put people in contact with. And yeah, let's hear
Okay.
about you, Lance.
Oh yeah, my name is Lance, and I met these two gentlemen when I was still working in our brokerage office in downtown. I got my license during the pandemic. I think it was 2021, and but I was working with Roman in the office as an admin since 2018. Who worked first in the office? Me, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So I was 18. I think you came in at 2019. That's one of my additional experience in real estate, and I also manage our family rental properties since we migrated here since 2007. And even back home, we have rental properties too. So we're really into real estate. Same time, I'm a guy with a lot of hats. I wear a lot of hats. So basically, if they ask me what do I do, I just tell them I'm an entrepreneur because I cannot just say I'm only doing real estate. I'm also practicing law. I'm a licensed paralegal since 2013, and I'm also a general contractor at the same time 2013. And people might be wondering why, because it helps with the business itself, like it helps you as a landlord, and you can also help other clients and realtors in terms of landlord and tenant board, and people who wants to migrate here, they will need a home, and comes with that, they will need to renovate their houses as well. So it goes hand in hand, right? It's like I'm a one-time shop. I just love learning
One-stop shop.
new things, and I take pride to the quality of my work. So that's something that, I'm proud of doing. I still love learning. I have more things that I do, but I don't have to mention them.
The
Well,
But
real
we
question is
we only have so much
not
time.
what you do, it's what you don't do.
that's right. That's right. I mean, let's just stick to what we are doing here. That's related to what we are doing. So I
So,
practice real estate mostly. I'll say anywhere. I can even help people invest in the Philippines because I'm also partnered with two of the biggest real estate companies there. I don't know if they heard of it, but Ayala is like Alveo. They even have properties in Vancouver now because that's how big they are. And I'm also partnered with Canyon Properties, which is focused on high-end resorts back home. And so I actually have another one, but forgot the name because I didn't sign the partnership agreement yet. So yeah, I mean that's about me for now. Yeah, we can start to talk about what we're supposed to talk about right now.
wait, what about me? Let me
Yeah,
talk.
exactly, exactly. Okay, I forgot
Sure.
about Tej. Yeah, go ahead, Tej. I thought you introduced
Okay.
yourself earlier.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, I started working at the office at Real Estate Homeward in 2020. I don't know, remember the exact date, but it was either the very last week of February or the first week of March. And I remember because I worked in the office and it was very hectic and super busy.
Oh
But
yeah,
then within a week or
it was.
two, um,
I think your first
there was
shift
no
was
more work.
me, right?
What's
Um,
that?
thought it was with Sue or
Oh,
Mark. I don't know. I don't remember to be honest. There were so many first shifts. What it felt
Well,
like at the time.
that was during the pandemic too, no?
Yeah, it was March
2020.
2020,
Okay.
bro.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah,
started
yeah, yeah.
work and then I had to stop work. Like literally 2 weeks after I
Oh yeah,
started.
yeah, yeah. Because we shut down for f 4 months, 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. For like three,
Yeah,
4 months. And I didn't
yeah.
come back, yes.
Oh
So that was
wow,
when I was getting my license.
time
And then
flies.
since that, I basically stayed working at the office, learned as much as I could from management or whoever else came in the office. And I learned a lot from Roman. And Lance helped me out so many times on the road too. Um,
Romance
and
the man.
together, yeah, no, you guys are the guys. And I think if anything you're interested in the GTA, if you contact one of us, I think we'll be able to handle anything in the GTA for the most part. Um, anything further out, maybe we can help you find someone trustworthy or reliable to get what you need. I know Lance has, I guess, connections to the Philippines.
Mm,
And then Roman has connections to London, I believe, and Ottawa. So,
yeah. In Quebec, Montreal area, no?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. She
So,
has family there.
anything,
Yeah.
if you trust us, then please reach out to us and we'll do our best. Because I don't, Lance has many tricks or master of many trades. I'm just a generalist in many trades, but I know a bunch of masters. So I'll just help you get to the masters if you need
That's
that
true. That's
person.
true. You're like a Steve Jobs, you know.
I'm just trying, man. I'm just trying. And personally, what I believe real estate is, I think in this industry, it's all about relationships and trust and
True.
making
True.
sure you're well managed both financially and emotionally and feel supported. I was talking to a friend earlier and he was asking me essentially what do realtors even do or real estate agents. And I think the core that I tend to focus on more, other than relationships and good quality service, is sales, finance, and law. I think these are super important. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes a lot of people miss out on the details of sales, finance, and law, which, if you go into each of those, they're basically their own subspecialties or specialist fields. I mean, that's why there's lawyers, salespeople, financiers. Um, so other than that, I tend to specialize in commercial and um,
Do you do
investments.
commercial?
Hmm?
You do commercial real estate as well?
I've done a whole bunch of courses, and my family has a commercial little unit.
Oh,
So,
nice.
and looking into it, and me and Roman were doing a biogas thing a while ago. At the very beginning, it's been a while since that. Um, so I think
Oh, it's good
commercial
to
is
know.
where I'm. Yeah, yeah. No, anything commercial, I'm
Because
interested.
I had some instances where I had commercial client, looking for commercial properties clients, and I asked Hearbod. He said that he relied on this guy from our brokerage, who actually I also contacted long time ago. So yeah, so if I knew that you were doing it, I should have just asked you, you know.
Well, now we know.
Exactly.
Um,
Now we know. It's a good
so
thing that we have you at this podcast.
that's my answer for what real estate is to me. I guess Lance or Roman can now if you want to answer what real estate is for you.
I'll answer. But before I answer, I had a quick joke. Right?
Okay,
Lightning joke. Right? Knock knock.
who's there?
A first time home buyer.
First time home. Ooh.
a first-time home buyer who about buying a home. It's picking the paint colors.
Oh, your audio cut out because you were receiving a
Oh
call,
no,
so I couldn't hear.
that's part of the joke, bro. That's part of the joke.
Yeah, I thought it was part of the joke.
Okay,
I
two
thought you
steps, two
muted
steps.
yourself.
Okay, knock knock.
Not, oh, who's there?
A first-time home buyer.
First time home buyer who?
A first-time home buyer who just realized that saving for a down payment isn't the hardest part about buying a home. It's picking the paint colors.
That's true. That is true.
Well, it
Easy
can
but
be.
true. Easy but true.
It can be.
Okay, so what real estate means to me, I was thinking about that, and it means something different to me, like personally, internally and externally. So internally, the first thing I think about is survival. I don't know if it's because I'm a guy or whatever, but
Makes sense.
it's the foundation of, you know, our basic human need, which is shelter. So that's
Exactly.
the first thing I think about is, I need shelter to survive. And I'm a homebody, so I like being at home. I'm not a big traveler. I do like to travel and adventure, but I'm a homebody. So the first thing that it means to me is having a safe, clean environment, to eat, sleep, uh, do our basic necessities within our home, share and create good memories with family and friends, and laugh and be be in that safe place, that you call home.
Hmm.
Then what it also means to me as a real estate broker, um, it it pays my bills and feeds my family. So
Of
real
course.
estate's pretty important for that aspect. And I enjoy helping people, of course, helping them uh, buy their homes and create that same thing for other people. But on an external level, like in terms of the economy itself, I feel like it means everything, and it should mean everything to everyone because it has such a huge impact on the economy. I was I remember when I first did my real estate course, almost 10 years ago now, there was
Hmm.
a section in the textbook that really captured my attention, and it was talking about the ripple effect that real estate has on the economy. And it was using numbers in terms of how many jobs one single real estate sale creates every single day for a whole year. So I searched it up to refresh my memory, and
Hmm.
basically each sale supports roughly zero point 0.4 of a full-time job every single day for a whole year. So, for instance, last year in 2024, the Canadian real estate market had roughly around, it was like over 520,000 sales. So that means all those sales, all those transactions together sustain about like 212,000 jobs every single day for a whole year. From realtors to lawyers to movers, plumbers, contractors, even furniture stores. Like it has such a huge ripple effect on the economy. It's
Yeah.
so that's
Even
what
truck
it really means.
drivers.
Yeah, that's what it
And
really
not
means
even
to
just
me.
truck drivers. Sorry,
Yeah.
I remember one time when I was doing Uber, and the
You
guys I
used to
was driving around was a real estate agent, and he just gets
you
Ubers
used to
for
do
his.
Uber?
Oh.
Yeah, I did
I didn't
Uber
know that.
Eats
When was this?
and Uber driver, 2019
Nice.
to 2020, I
Oh, before
guess.
you joined the office then.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I
cool,
feel like
bro. That's
I could almost tie in any job indirectly to real estate somehow, some way. And when I was searching up some stats, it was saying that the real estate services as a whole make up like almost 15% of the GDP for Canada when you include like construction, renovations, financing.
Yeah.
any related activity. So
Yeah.
it was saying how it drives roughly 25% of Canada's economic output, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
crazy.
That's
Yeah.
what I
That's
read too.
1/4 of the
Exactly.
whole
No,
economic
it's
The, the,
super
output.
the,
important. It's
the,
super
So
important, and we don't
that's
want it to get hit too
that
hard.
that's the bread and butter of Canada, real estate and immigration, which I practice both. But you know,
But
that's
real estate and
why
immigration are related, right? If there
exactly.
was
That's
less
what I was.
immigrants,
Yeah, that's why I mentioned earlier. Exactly. I help people from back home, or not only back home, but mostly back home to come here. And then they need a place for sure. So that's where the real estate comes in and all this stuff. So
but too much
and
immigration
it's
could also cause a problem too for
ex
the real estate
exactly.
company. So
Exactly. That's why
yeah.
these
Whoa.
past years it was too much, I didn't agree to it too. So I only pick the people I really help to come here. I didn't even entertain strangers who, were asking for my help, especially if I know that they're not really gonna contribute much in our economy or country. So
Yeah.
mostly friends and family and the referrals that really needs to, have a better life. I think those are the
Or
one that
top
deserves to
talent.
live here. Huh?
Or top talent. You got
Top
to keep
talent,
the super
exactly. Like
talented
like like like
immigrants
you and
too.
Roman. Exactly. I'm
Roman's
looking
not
for
an
someone
immigrant.
like you and
Roman's
Roman to come
local.
here.
Look, Roman is organic.
Exactly.
what does real estate mean to you, Lance?
It's one of the main necessities in our lives. So it's like food. You need shelter. So no matter what, it's not just investment. For me, that's why I think from our last convo that we weren't able to record real estate, don't treat it as an investment primarily, because it's just secondary to do it as an investment. You know, your
Exactly.
main reason of getting a house or a real estate is as a home, right? A shelter. So other than that, if you, it will be an investment over time, but it's not like stocks. It's not liquid. It's not fast. It's not something like a quick, rich scheme. Gone are the days, I think a decade ago when it used to be like that. But right now, we're not in that situation. People are kind of hesitant of buying real estate because of, people, what happened to people these past years. But I believe that what the government was trying to do was trying to make it affordable for Canadians because people here can't buy, like the young generation can't buy, and it's supposed to be a home, not an investment. And it was only investors who were able to buy property, especially in GTA area, because of how it went up too fast, and good for the investors, but I mean bad for the people who really needs the house, right? And I mean, Roman can relate to that because he needs to buy somewhere kind of far from GTA for him to just get a house himself. So,
Yeah. I think
that's yeah,
I think one of the things that it's important to remember or acknowledge is because we're all in the GTA and it's the Toronto area,
mm,
we are in the fifth largest city in North America and one of the major cities in the world. And I
yeah,
think I even heard or read somewhere that the Toronto Real Estate Board is one of the largest, if not one of the biggest real estate boards in the world.
I
yeah,
heard that.
So
yeah,
it's very competitive, and the way I see it is, a lot of times in Canada, it's like Vancouver or Toronto is the end point for a lot of people that initially come into the country.
yeah,
Um, so it's always going to be the most competitive. If you're going to buy a place in Toronto, it's most
mm,
likely to stay, the prices is more likely to be more safe compared to other places, in my opinion, because the most people in the world and in Canada itself tend to compete for areas like this, ours, basically.
of course, I mean that's why we're lucky to live here. But
Yeah,
even people who actually lives here, they're starting to move out though, because
yeah,
so much changes that's happening. Just like what we mentioned earlier, the immigration because of all those increase of population, also increase of just being real crime and stuff, because that's just statistics, right? The more people there are, the more incidents that will happen. And it's not
of
just that, it's
course.
also the cost of living. And that's just how it is. More
Well, it's
people who
gonna push
lives
them
in one
out.
place. Yeah. So, but it's not, I mean, GTA is not for everyone. I mean, I have friends too that I help migrate here, but they live in Calgary, Alberta area because it's cheaper. It's also like, easier to
Yeah,
migrate there. They were able to buy their house after a few years, and they were able to pay it off in 3 years, which
Well,
is also
yeah,
possible to do that here, if you don't have that much money, because the houses there are really cheap, like 250 to 500,000. And when they were about to move here, because they were asking, I said, this is the last, I guess if you're just planning of staying in Canada and not moving somewhere else like the US, because they were also planning of moving to the US, especially New York, um, because they have good job, they're nurses, and it's an in-demand job, and
yeah.
they're also good paying. And when they found out that I said, I can help you guys find a place here, I can help you guys also sell your house there in Calgary, because I have I was able to make.
Lance, you cut out.
I was reading a thing yesterday about Alberta, and they were saying that Alberta's the number one spot that people from Ontario are going to right now.
Mhm. Well, if I wasn't,
What happened? I got disconnected.
yeah, it's okay. Um,
Did you guys
I
get
was,
disconnected, or is it just me?
no, it was just you.
No, I don't know what happened. I
It's
thought
okay.
it.
I
Um,
was just
I,
saying when you got disconnected that I read something yesterday saying that Alberta's the number one spot that people from Ontario are fleeing to now.
yeah, yeah, because it's a conservative. They have the conservative government there, and they're
well, not
planning.
just that. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but if you live in Alberta, they reduce the taxes so that if you
Exactly.
work any regular job like you would in Ontario or the rest of Canada, you're gonna
Mm,
pay far less taxes in Alberta.
yeah, yeah.
If
And
if
that
I
will
didn't,
help people invest more in the real estate.
yeah, yeah, if I wasn't so tied to the GTA and I didn't mind the cold as much, Alberta would be a strong choice for me to
No, it is. It
consider
is.
going to.
I have a lot of friends who actually moved there just recently, like this past year. He even has a good job. He was in charge of the recruitment in the police force in Toronto. He's a police as well, police officer as well. But he was just doing the filtering of the recruitment. But he moved there. I was surprised because I called him because I had a friend who wanted to join the force, and I called him and he's like, "Hey, I'm in Alberta now." But he's doing the same job there though. So he said he likes it there better. But I also have someone who moved from there after several years to here, back here. She was my manager when I was working in retail when I was in college in Vaughan Mills. So she just went back here. I asked her why. She said she likes Toronto better still. And with the changes that's happening, I guess it's up to you. It depends on your preference, right? It's not,
Well, for
you know,
me,
yeah,
one of the main reasons why I'm in the GTA is because, and I probably will always be somewhat in the GTA, is we just have some of the best food options in the world
that's
from
true.
anywhere in the
Exactly.
world.
Yeah, we're
So I
very
know Alberta
multicultural.
won't
Yeah.
compete with us there, and they
At
No,
this
never will.
no.
time, everyone keeps talking about moving to like the States or a different country or Alberta or wherever, but there's still lots of opportunities here in the GTA.
Of
That like
course.
Taysa, you just bought a property last year. I just bought a
Mhm.
property this year. Lance
Yeah,
has properties here, right? And we're all fairly young, right? So
yeah,
there's still a lot of opportunities here that people, it's easy to get discouraged, but at the same
Yeah.
time, we could still make the GTA, you know,
Yeah,
up, up and up again.
I mean,
I
it's
think
harder
GTA
to
is
stay
already up
here.
top, to be honest.
Oh,
I was
we
trying to
are.
give a boost to the other places.
Yeah, it's like what I mentioned before. Uh, Toronto is like New York of the US, and Vancouver's like the LA, we're like fast
Yeah, that's a
paced,
good way
and
of putting
we're
it.
like the high end lifestyle, expensive, more, there's more crimes, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, they want to live here, but it's just hard for them to afford. It's like what I
Exactly.
was before I got cut off. My friend of mine, when I told him, I'll help him to buy a house here when he found a job, and he did. They found him and his wife found a job here as a nurse. And when they found out that they have to buy, even if they sell their house there in Alberta, um, and they buy a house here, they still have to work for they still have to pay a mortgage for at least 15 years to pay it off. So in his mind, I'm like, why do I have to start over again and pay another mortgage when I'm already like mortgage free here and I'm making, almost the same amount of money. So that's what kind of
Well,
holding them back. But they know because they visited here, they liked it here better. But now they maybe, one day they said, if ever that we have enough money to buy a house without us paying that much mortgage or, many years of mortgage, then they will move here. But for
I
now,
think
it's kind of, yeah.
one of the options I tend to recommend for people that eh, might be in similar situations, ultimately they have to look in their own situation, but is
Hmm.
if you already have a property with a mortgage and you can rent it for a decent price, you don't necessarily need to buy in the GTA. You can keep your property where you are, get that rental income, and just rent in the GTA and keep your ownership wherever you have ownership currently.
That's
Um,
true.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
true. I mean, that's another option. But I mean, it's
because
just
you
something
already
that
won at that point, in a way.
exactly. Well, I kind of mentioned that to them, they can rent out the place, but they said they need a lot of money, of course, to put a down payment, right? And also, all these
No, but you
expenses
don't need a
after.
down payment if you're not going to buy here initially.
No, yeah, no, but I mean, that's why they were planning of selling the one they have there. Yeah, because
I
they were
think
really planning of buying.
I think the most important thing people have to do is really sit and analyze what they're willing to sacrifice based on their wants and needs. I
Yeah,
think that's a big
yeah.
problem for the consumer right now, that they're so focused on the headlines of the media, like the real estate market's this or the real estate
Yeah.
market's that. But just sit down, focus. Like for me, for example, when I was getting ready to buy, that's what I
Mm-hmm.
did. I'm like, okay, personally, I'm not the type of person to want to buy a condo. That's just based on my goals of want to start a family and have kids and whatever. I always grew up with a big backyard, so I like nature, gardening. So I wanted something with a little, even a small backyard. So I was willing to sacrifice going an hour from Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
staying in Toronto. But everyone's different. I have the option where I could work from home half the time, and we're going everywhere for showings anyway, so it didn't matter for me. But I think
Exactly.
the most important thing is to just analyze what you're willing to sacrifice and
Yeah,
what you're not, and then work towards that direction because the condo market's really good right now.
it
So,
Oh
like,
is.
yeah,
It is. Yep, it
it's
is.
really
as a
good.
secondary property, like an investment property, if I had the money, I'd buy one right now.
Yeah,
Why
you
not?
can get some pretty nice units for. It's basically a buyer's market, essentially
It
meaning
is a
it's in the
buyer's
buyer's
market.
favor.
Yes, and that's what I tell the clients right now, but you know, like what Roman was saying, it's just how much it's like the tolerance of sacrifice they can do, right?
Well, not
Kind of
just
people
that.
are kind of scared right now.
We were in a seller's market for like 4 years or 3 years. A
Yeah,
crazy seller's market. So
yeah,
people
yeah,
take time to adjust back to
yeah.
um,
Well, you know, factor back then was like, they,
the
you know,
pandemic, man.
the
Zero percent
no,
interest
no,
rates.
the interest rate, it went high too much, right? That's why people who bought a few years ago are kind of, stuck there. I think we were talking about this on our last convo that I even have friends where they even have to move back to their parents' house or go, because they have to rent out that place that they have just to cover the expense, right? Just to cover the amount of what they're supposed to pay. And that this doesn't even cover the whole thing. They still, pay more than
Yeah.
the rent. So, and people who are hearing this who wanted to buy are kind of getting scared. But now, since the interest rate went down, we were expecting that there's gonna be a big surge, or people are gonna start buying, but the market, it's still not as, it's still
No,
kind of
it's
dry.
not. It's not directly related to interest rate. Some of it is just, I think, based on what other people are doing. So if other people start buying, then other people will also start buying.
No, no,
Just out of fear of missing out.
exactly, but what's stopping them from doing that is because of these things. This is one of the main factors. And secondly, is like what's happening with the U.S. tariff, because we were always asking our clients,
Yeah.
whenever they're trying to buy or planning to buy or trying to sell, they're all saying the same thing. So it's kind of like we did our own survey.
Yeah, yeah.
And
No, that's
people,
good.
sometimes not, even not our clients, but ask people around here, because, when I walk around, I tell them, I kind of market myself when I become friends with people around my neighborhood, or not even just my neighbor. I just meet them, and they start asking me what I do. And then I tell them, yeah, if you need help with real estate and stuff. And they start asking me stuff about this, and like, how's the market, this and that. I wanted to buy or I wanted to sell my place. And then they will now start, opening up about their concerns. And the concern that I was telling you earlier, that's almost the same thing. It's either the tariff that's happening in the US, and also the interest rate, and also what happened to people who was affected by that interest rate. So,
I guess,
sad, but well, we're getting better though. I mean, people were starting to buy, and people are also trying to sell, but not as how we anticipated when the interest rate went down.
well, I think like in terms of like when you buy any property, like it always has to be specific for you at the right time and with your own analysis. So it could be any time. I think like sometimes I just respond sometimes because when I hear people about reasons they don't buy, I've been hearing people say the market's going to crash literally
Oh,
every year, multiple times a year since I started, all the
well,
time. So I'm
exactly.
just
Well,
like,
it's been
what is
even
this?
10 years, 15 years ago. They always say those kind of things,
Yeah.
but we were even taught in OREA when, oh, yeah, it's still under OREA, right? The real
Yeah.
estate courses.
Ontario Real Estate
Yeah, so
Association.
we were taught that, before it went to Humber, they said that we won't have the same crash as what happened to the US, because we don't practice what they did, why it happened to them, where they were on, they kept on lending people money, more, for mortgage, even though
Yes, yeah.
they're not filtering them well. So
It's a
it won't
subprime
happen.
crisis.
Exactly. So it won't happen to us. And the crash that they were talking about, this is already it. And it was kind of what they wanted, because just to make it a bit more a- affordable for Canadians. And so, because if you really look into it very well, they banned foreigners from buying. All
Or
of a
they
sudden,
increase the
right,
tax
the interest,
very
yeah,
highly.
no, well, they were, they even announced this once, that they're
Yeah,
like,
I know, I know, I know,
they
I
they
know.
need to they need to kind of cool off the market, because it's too
Yeah.
much. It's
And they
too
did.
expensive.
They did cool off
And
the
so,
market.
and they did exact. So this is, if you really look, if you really know, if you read between the lines what they're doing, that's what they did.
I know, I know, I know. It's
Exactly. And
funny.
people won't understand it, but I knew exactly what they're doing, because they're like, first they banned that, because I actually have um potential clients back then, when before they did that banning of foreign investors, because I met these ambassadors, and diplomats from back home in the Philippine embassy here, and they wanted to buy because they, of course, they were able to experience the life here. They live in Ottawa and they wanted to buy a house for themselves. They said that
Yeah.
they even planning of retiring here, and then that
Oh, wow.
happened. In the beginning, they included them from not able to buy, but after that, they kind of revised it and they allowed them, but it was too late. They already changed their mind. They actually bought in New York instead because they have their daughter who's studying in university there.
Yeah.
But I mean, anyway, what I'm saying is
It'll keep changing, man. It'll change every year. Changes this way, then that way. People go that
exactly,
way, then this way. It's
exactly, exactly. But that's how they did it. So they banned the foreigners so that the dropping of price, it won't be for the foreign investors. It will be for Canadians itself who they wanted to help buy
yeah,
properties. So that's what they did. You cannot blame them, even though for us we're losing more money as realtors, but it's actually for the benefit of everybody. You know,
yeah.
yeah.
I think it's actually hard for good realtors to lose despite the market because good realtors will maintain relationships in up
Oh
and
yeah,
down market. So it
exactly.
doesn't really matter what the market
There
does
actually,
for
there's actually pros and cons in this market because for me, we don't have to go to bidding wars and stuff, and it
yeah,
also
yeah,
and also weeds out those bad realtors who are only there because it's the hype, right? That's what they even told someone told me this back then, that because
That's a good point, actually.
yeah, when I was new, I was saying this thing. I'm like, oh no, because the pandemic happened, all this, like, you know what, cherish that, because if you made it through the pandemic, you'll have it easier after. At the same time, it weeds out the bad ones. And if you're really for this business and you survive, then you're one of the good realtors, and you're gonna be always be a good realtor, and you're always gonna make good money. Even on the hard times, you're not gonna make as good, but that's just how business is. It's a roller
yeah,
coaster. It's not always always on the top.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're at the bottom, but you're still gonna make some. That's why you
And
always save some money for you to survive. Just make it,
it's
past that.
funny you said that because there's I know a bunch of realtors firsthand that when they had a really easy first year, like in
Mm,
2021, they started real estate. They were like
yeah,
selling like crazy,
yeah,
and now they're like dropping like like flies. Like they're just quitting. They're
yeah, yeah. I
retiring,
agree.
pushing their license, quitting. They can't
Exactly.
handle.
No, no, that's true. That's very true. I even have conversation with this mortgage agent that I worked with, because she asked, because I saw her, like, I'm like, oh, you're still busy during this dry market. She said, yeah, I'm always busy. I'm like, how about you? I'm like, yes, luckily I am. And she said, that's good, because a lot of my other realtors that I work with, they already like quit, or they pause, or they're doing something else for now. They said they're gonna come back when the market is back. So,
well, I
so
think, I
There's a
think,
lot of first-time home buyers that still do want to buy this year and take advantage
yeah,
of
yeah,
the market, right? So
yeah, yeah,
I know for me that's what drove my business this year
yeah.
was first-time home buyers. There's a lot that are still fearful and they're waiting and they think the market's going to crash more, but there's
Mhm.
also a lot that are taking advantage. If you're looking long term, I have a lot of first-time home buyers that are looking long term and
Mhm.
they don't because they're like, even if it does drop a little more, it could only drop so much more, right?
Exactly.
Before it
yeah,
rebounds, just
just take their
like the
time to
stock
buy.
market, right? It goes up and down, but it keeps going up. So
Exactly.
they're jumping on it, right?
It's kind of like
Because
stocks, right?
we can't time that
Exactly. It's kind of like
No,
stocks. So you cannot time the lowest of the lowest price, right? For me, I just
no,
tell the client, what? Here's the thing. Do you need a house? Do you need, or, now, right now, if you're not gonna buy, you're paying someone's mortgage. As opposed to when once you own a house, that goes to your equity.
Yes.
So even if it drops more or whatever, either, you're paying your own house now. So in the
You're
end, you're
owning
still
it,
winning.
and
Exactly.
you
And
won't
now
have to
you
pay
don't have
rent.
to worry about, being under the microscope of your landlord because it's your own house now. You can even
Yes.
have your own tenant now and make some money out of it in your basement. So, or even rent
Yeah.
out the whole place and all this stuff. So, at the end of the day, it's not as you cannot compare how it was during the golden years, which was a few years ago. It's not the same. But at the end of the day, we're still better than a lot of things, because real estate is more stable. First of all, you have a house. You're not gonna be homeless because you're living in a house now. You don't have to worry about getting kicked out by a landlord and same time getting, living outside in the cold winter, especially here in Canada. So that's one
Do
of the
you
things you
have
have to consider.
do you have any predictions for spring 2026? Because we've
Uh,
faced almost over a whole year,
mm-hmm,
probably longer than 1 year of the market kind of on a decline.
mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well,
I feel like the spring 2026 will see an increase again, but
I think so too.
I think so too, because they even said that the interest rate are gonna drop some more, and that's what we tell the clients to, right? Well, sometimes we don't even have to tell them; they know themselves. They're like, "Oh, isn't
Yeah.
it gonna drop some more next year?" That's why they're holding now. They're the one. It's like I said, they were holding back. They're like, "It's gonna drop some more next year, so I might as well just wait next year." But now what I tell them is like, "Yeah, you know how it works. When the interest rate drops, the price goes up because people
Yeah.
starts buying." So now, do you rather wait till next year and then you're gonna be surprised that, you know, the
Everything
price
is
of the
more
house are
expensive.
way high. So, and now you're not gonna be able to afford what you were able to afford this year, next year.
I
So that
don't think
kind of
it's
helped.
gonna I don't think it's gonna drop like a crazy amount. It might be like a little bit and then another little bit. So I think if you're in the market right now and the next little bit will probably be your best time for negotiating power.
and
Yeah,
Because
we're
you won't know when the bottom will be ultimately. So if you can find what you really, really like, and it's going to be
exactly.
long term. Like it's like you
Exactly.
said about the stock market. Don't pick the stock, but the index, the top 500 overall, which is your house, your favorite index of your favorite people and what you
Mm-hmm.
value, that
Mm-hmm.
will go up long term to relative to you. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Plus,
it's
you don't wait for the very bottom of the price and all this stuff, right? Or the interest rate because we call that it's like you're chasing. You're not chasing. If you
cherry
chase,
picking.
sometimes that's when you lose. That's why you
Yeah.
be happy with
Well,
what you
it's
have.
trying to catch
You
a falling knife,
exactly. You
right?
cannot chase because that's usually that's risky. You don't take that much risk because if you take that risk, that's when you usually lose more.
It's not
When
even
you're
about risk
already
for
winning,
me. I
when
think
you're
it's
winning,
stress.
that's a win. You when
I think
you
it's
when
stress, man.
huh?
I think it's too stressful. Like if you're
No,
trying to catch when it goes down, you're gonna get super stressed. So just go
But
after what you really
some
like
people,
will make your
it's kind of
family
like
happy.
it's kind of becoming too greedy, right? Sometimes that happened to
Yeah,
me
but that's how
so
people
many times
are.
too when I do stocks or investing in crypto, and I chase too much on the very bottom, right? And then all of a sudden it surges so fast up, and I'm like,
Me too.
could have
Me
doubled my
too.
money in a few seconds, but
It's all a learning
what did
experience.
I do? I'll get the green and I lost that, and I'm gonna be I'm gonna be pissed off for a few days, but because I'm like, I could have doubled my money, and I didn't because of, just me trying to wait for a few more. I could have just made a few hundreds if it dropped down a bit more. Instead, I lost thousands. So that's
But
Amen.
you wouldn't be able to do that with the house because you'll be
no,
in there
no,
long
no, no.
term.
But what I'm saying
So
though,
you'll
it's
win.
almost. But the thing is, it's almost the same thing. It's slower because we even learned this in real estate. Like in real estate, the fluctuation is low, right? In stocks, it goes like that, real fast. That's why
Yeah.
it's like you said, it's stressful. But it's also stressful in real estate because the amount of money you're investing is way more. So it's not a joke. Even though it's low, But if you lose there, you lose big. You might even lose way more in stocks in real estate because of that fluctuation. But still, like I said, it's not gonna be always down there, right? Real estate usually goes up. So
Well, as long as we need shelter, as long as humans are here,
exact,
we'll be
exactly,
fine.
I
It'll
was
be
exact.
worth
looking at
something.
I was looking at the historical stat
Hmm.
from the 1980s all
Yeah,
the way up until now,
yeah.
and around 1989, I think it was, or 1990,
Hmm.
there was a dip in the market, and it
Hmm.
lasted about 7 years
Yeah.
on a downward trend, but it wasn't like a drastic.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
it was like
I,
in the
I think
span of 7 years, it was like I think 20 or 30% drop
yeah.
in
I
normal
remember you
investment.
showed me this in the office. I remember showing. Yeah, you showed me this.
So some
I
people are speculating that that's what's going to happen right now.
I don't
Like,
think so. I don't think so. Me, for personally, I don't think that's what's gonna happen.
if it does happen, let's say 7 years,
Yeah.
or you buy a house, you get a mortgage, lock in for a 5 year
Hmm.
fixed term. By the time you're finished your 5 year fixed term, statistically speaking, it should probably go up again, even in the worst case scenario that we've
Hmm.
seen over the last,
Well,
you
not
know,
even just that.
over a year.
It's even if it doesn't go up too much, the fact that prices have went down a bit, you can now be able to pay your mortgage much easier. So
Yeah.
you'll be able to go through the 7 year period into the next 7 year period
Exactly.
where it goes up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And looking at that chart, it just shows you that it always goes up, even during those years where it has to go down. There was a crash. They considered that as a crash, and the crash is not as bad as what happened in the U.S. It's not that
Yeah.
much. It's just like as same price as like what 5, 7, 10 years ago, which is still good.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's not like we're in a bad situation where our houses are like you know tr
The average price of a home in the GTA is still over a million. It's like
exact
Yeah.
1.1 million or
exactly,
1,050,000.
exactly. So
So
where can you
how
find that?
much lower is it going to drop? Is it going to drop from 1,050,000 to 400,000? Probably
No,
not.
I don't think
Definitely
so.
not.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Definitely
I don't
not.
think it's gonna. If
Exactly.
anything, I'm seeing it going up anytime next year or 2 years from now. It's gonna
I
start
think,
going up.
in
In
my opinion,
certain
I agree with you.
segments of the market, it already is, or certain areas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll always be that way. Certain areas will always outperform other areas.
And I believe that they're actually lifting the ban from the foreigners, and that will make it go high. Because once those foreign investors are back,
Come back.
trust
Yeah.
me, I mean, they're gonna be they're crazy. They're gonna go crazy. They're gonna buy so much. For them, this is nothing. They're gonna buy cash everything,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that's gonna, the supply and demand will
let
play
me know
there.
where they're buying so I can buy there before them.
Back then, what they do,
Basically, if you're a
yeah,
consumer, whether you like it or not, more than likely it's going to go up. So you might as
Yeah,
well
exactly.
jump in the
it
market as
will.
soon as you can.
Yeah. A lot of them, what they do, they buy those pre-con condos, like the
Yeah,
whole floor or multiple floors. They buy it themselves, and then
yeah,
they buy that, they buy the right. It's not, because you don't have a mortgage. It's just for paper to reserve it. They buy that, and then they sell that before the takeover. It's like called the assignment, and they make money out of it. So
yeah.
this is
I
where a
have a
lot of,
question for you guys.
yeah,
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure we could all agree if you're just a basic first time home buyer consumer that wants to buy a home, probably mid to long term, maybe a starter home for 5, 10 years and then upsize whatever. We could all agree that now's a good time to buy. But
yeah,
if you're an
yes.
investor, if you're an investor,
Yeah.
what do you think? But
If
does
you're
that
an
change?
investor,
But
anytime is the right time to buy if you can
exactly.
find the right deal.
Exactly. And if you're an investor who has money and don't have to rely on mortgage, this is the right time. That's what I tell people this past year because the price is low, the interest is high. The only way for you to win that game is for you to buy cash. And we had actually clients were able to do that. So they bought
Yeah.
houses, in around GTA, especially Richmond Hill area, the rundown houses for 1 million and around $1 million, 1.5. But now they've kind of flipped that house, they renovated it, rented it out, and now they're gonna sell it once the market is back. And they're gonna double the money for sure. Because we know the more, if you look at the prices of those houses in that neighborhood, they were like around almost 3 million. So it depends on what kind of reno you do. If you tear down the house and then build a bigger house, which what happened with multiple houses in that street, they can even make it way more than that.
How important do you guys think diversifying is for investing in real estate?
It's
Like,
not important at the start because at the start, if you're gonna buy your own house, then you're not diversified at all. So
exactly. Especially it's hard to afford just to buy a house now. So how
yeah,
are you gonna diversify? Diversify when you already have so much money, or so
yeah,
already have so
exactly.
much properties, and most of the time, if you already paid them off, right? Usually, people who diversify is people who are like, what? I still have enough money, and I can pull out some money from my property now, or
Yeah,
especially I paid it off. Now I can use what do I have to do now with this, right? I don't know what to do. Take out the money, HELOC, pay, buy another property. So
I
that's the
wouldn't
only
worry.
time.
I wouldn't worry too much about diversifying until you paid off your own place.
Exactly. Pay that off first. People who diversify early, they get burned, and that
Yeah.
happened to a friend of mine because I taught him some real estate. I helped him get this property in Pickering when it was a pre-con townhouse together with two friends. And then out of nowhere, he started buying on his own, because I believe his brother is also a realtor, or maybe he was already a realtor before I helped him, or maybe after I helped him. He started, and then he bought three more pre-cons,
Wow. That's a lot.
and he only works part-time in a
Oh
hospital.
my God.
And I'm like, bro, what are you doing, man? I don't know what you're doing. I mean,
And you're
seriously, it's
saying,
like, bro, he kind of made this calculation. I'm like, yeah, but you don't know what can happen. You always have to look at, that anything can happen. I'm not saying it's gonna crash one day, but things can happen. What if it does, and then you have those four, and you cannot sell them, and that happened to him, bro. He
it might
lost
not
all.
even be the market,
So
man.
do you think it would have been a better idea for him to diversify between different asset classes like real estate, stocks,
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, that yes,
uh,
Yes.
and
just
he, he
like
did. He did
similar
too.
to how we diversified this podcast? We have an Indian, a Filipino, and a European, so we
Exactly.
cover
Yeah.
both.
Canadian.
No,
both.
actually, he did some investment. Yeah, I taught him how to do crypto investment, and he did. And I think he's still in a good position right now because he doesn't really know. He just wants to hold it until it really goes big. But I think he's still on the winning side, and he thinks that it will still go up way more. I don't know. I told him it's all you now. I said you can sell it now because she already won by way much. And
Yeah.
if it ever crashes one day, don't blame me on it because I already told you now that you should have sold it. I mean, like I said, you cannot be too greedy sometimes, and especially if you don't really trade, you just ask people for advice, what to do,
Yeah.
and
Then
that
you're just
advisor,
guessing and gambling.
yeah. So he just thinks that, but he already got his capital because I always tell people, like, you know what, first thing you have to do is like get your ROI.
Exactly.
How, get your whatever capital you use to invest on that, and then once you get that, you don't feel bad if you ever lose it because it's just profit. But if it goes up, keep on doing what you're doing, get the profit, and then make it grow and make it grow until, like you said, diversify. You just have to, invest on different
That's
things.
this is all our personal um equity speculation. If you
Yeah.
need to do your own financial decisions, talk to a financial advisor. If you
No,
want to talk
exactly.
real estate, come to us.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
Exactly.
listen to us.
Exactly.
Listen, everything we're saying word for word.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
We did an hour. I think we did pretty good. Is there anything you guys want to leave off on, or I think it was pretty solid.
Yeah, that was a good convo, man. So it's
Yeah.
very informational. I think a lot of people will be able to relate to what we just said. So
Nice.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna end the recording now, and okay, so I stopped the